Konnichiwa minasan. Hello friends, how are you? This is Sujoy Chatterjee welcoming you on my YouTube channel, Saral Japani. This is a channel for learning Japanese. Today is the 36th lesson of this series and the title is Who and Whose. Friends, in the last lesson, that is lesson 35, we discussed about questions starting with what. In today's lesson, we will look into who and whose kind of questions. So let's get started. Who. The word in Japanese for who is dare, and there is another word called donata. In Japanese, a who question is asked using dare or donata. So as you have seen in several cases till now that in Japanese, there are often two words. One is for informal conversation and the other is for formal conversation, which is more polite. So in this case as well, there are two words, dare and donata. Both dare and donata give the same meaning, that is who. However, donata is more polite and formal than dare, and it is generally used to ask questions to elders, superiors at workplace and strangers. Dare is more common among friends or with minors. So the meaning is clear. Dare is informal who and donata is formal who. And the point to be noted here is that when we use dare or donata in a sentence, it will not be followed by wa. The particle wa will not be present after this interrogation. So this is applicable not only for who, but for any kind of question word, who, what, or whatever. Wa will not be followed by these interrogation words. So now let's look at some examples. The first example is who is that person? Who is that person? If we want to write this in Japanese, ano hito wa dare desu ka? Or ano hito wa donata desu ka? So here you can see ano hito. Ano means that. We have seen kono, sono, ano. So for hito we use ano. Ano hito, hito. This is the person radical. It's also called jin, but that is used in different scenarios when we say like Indojin, that is the Indian citizen, or Nihonjin. But if we use it as a generic person, then it will be said hito. Ano hito is that person. Wa dare desu ka? Who is it? That means who is that person? So the word by word translation will be that person who is. So the sentence, the question is translated to who is that person? Ano hito wa dare desu ka? Or ano hito wa donata desu ka? Let's look at another sentence. Who is your father? How do we say this in Japanese? Anata no otoosan wa dare desu ka? Anata no otoosan. Anata no otoosan means your father. Anata is you. No, if we add no to you, it becomes your. And otoosan is father. You can see here, oto. O is the normal O character of hiragana, and this is the kanji for father. So this becomes otoosan. So O, this is for the honorific. This is the honorific prefix, and this is to and san. So on both sides of this to we have honorifics, and in this way this becomes father. So in the next one of the next lessons, we will see how this kanji is derived for father. For the time being, just visualize this as the kanji for father. Anata no otosan means your father. Wa dare desu ka means who is. So who is your father? Anata no otosan wa donata desu ka? Anata no otosan wa dare desu ka? So in this way, a who question is asked in Japanese. Ano hito wa dare desu ka? Anata no otosan wa dare desu ka? Ano hito wa donata desu ka? Anata no otosan wa donata desu ka? Now let's see how this form changes if we add the no particle. So as we all know that no particle is used for possession or belonging, or to establish a relation with another person or with something. Watashi plus no gives watashi no. That means I becomes mine when we add no particle to I. Watashi no, kono, sono, ano, or in the plural tense it will be korera no, sorera no, and arera no. So in this way, this once it is used as pronoun and so next is we shall see how by adding a no particle we can have a different meaning for dare and donata. So to give a background, watashi plus no becomes watashi no. That means I becomes mine. Kore plus no becomes kono. Here kore is this as pronoun and kono is also this, but now it has become an adjective. Similarly, sore is that as pronoun and sono is that as adjective. Similarly, are is that over there as pronoun and ano is that over there as an adjective. Likewise, in the last lesson, that is lesson 35, we have seen that none plus no gives none no, in which what becomes what kind of. None is what and none no means what kind of. Similarly, if we add no to dare, so by now you have already guessed it that who becomes whose because the no particle adds a belongingness to the parent word or some kind of possession or relationship with the parent word. So dare means who, dareno means whose. Similarly, donata plus no becomes donatano. And here also the meaning is the same. This is just an informal version and donatano is the polite, more polite version of whose. So dareno, donatano. So what's the difference between dare donata and dare no donata no? Dare donata gives the identity of the person. That means it asks the question who. And dare no or donata no basically indicates the authority or possession. That's why it asks a whose type of question. So now let's see some examples of dareno and donatano. Whose pen is this? Whose pen is this? So how do we ask this in Japanese using dareno or donatano? Pen wa dareno desu ka? Pen wa dareno desu ka? Pen wa donatano desu ka? So this means pen belongs to whom? Whose pen is this? Pen wa dareno desu ka? Pen wa donatano desu ka? We can also say pen wa Honda-san no desu ka? Look here. Pen wa Honda-san no desu ka? Means does this pen belong to Honda-san or is this Honda-san's pen? Is this Honda-san's pen or does this pen belong to Honda-san? Pen wa Honda-san no desu ka? Another way of asking pen wa anata no desu ka? Means does this pen belong to you or is this your pen? Anata is you and anata no is yours. So pen wa anata no desu ka? Is this pen yours or does this pen belong to you? Another example, whose mobile is this? Dane, dareno keitai desu ka? So see the difference between these two. So the question is the same. Whose pen is this? Whose mobile is this? So here we have written pen wa dareno desu ka? But here we have written dareno keitai desu ka? So this means the subject which is keitai here and here it is pen. So you can write it before or after the dareno word. So this question may also be asked as keitai wa dareno desu ka? Just like this one, pen wa dareno desu ka? So here we can write keitai wa dareno desu ka? Also we can write dareno keitai desu ka? Likewise here also we can write dareno pen desu ka? Dareno pen desu ka? That means, is this your pen? And here also, is this your mobile? So the meaning is the same. We can interchange the position of keitai and dareno. So if we put keitai in the beginning, then we have to use the wa particle. Keitai wa dareno desu ka? Pen wa dareno desu ka? Or dareno pen desu ka? Or dareno keitai desu ka? So this one should remember that both are correct in Japanese, but in English, whose can appear only in the beginning. Whose pen is this? Or we can write, does this pen belong to you? That is possible, but we cannot interchange the position of whose and pen directly as we do in Japanese. So whose pen is this? Pen wa dareno desu ka? Or dareno pen desu ka? Whose mobile is this? Dareno keitai desu ka? Or keitai wa dareno desu ka? Next we shall see two times usage of the particle no, that is double possession of something. Let's see what this means. Whose watch is this? Again the same question. Dareno tokei desu ka? Tokei means watch. So dareno tokei desu ka? Or donata no tokei desu ka? The same question as we asked for pen and sorry, pen and for the mobile keitai. So now the question is, whose watch is this? Dareno tokei desu ka? Donata no tokei desu ka? Now the answer is, it's my teacher's watch. So see here, there is one possession, that is my teacher, and there is another possession, watch is possessed by the teacher. So there are two possessions. So now let's see how this will be written in Japanese. Watashi no sensei no tokei desu. That means my teacher's watch. Watashi no sensei, my teacher, and sensei no tokei, that is teacher's watch. So watashi no sensei no tokei desu means it's my teacher's watch. Now one thing to be noted here is that in a sentence we have used this no particle twice. So it should be remembered that in a sentence we should not use more than two no particles. Otherwise it will not sound very good in hearing. So three times no, it's not used. So only twice we can use in a sentence. Watashi no sensei no tokei desu. It's my teacher's watch. So there is double possession in this sentence and double usage of no particle. Another example, whose textbook is this? Dareno kyoukasho desu ka? Dareno kyoukasho desu ka? Whose textbook is this? Now, if the question is in plural, that is, whose textbooks are these? So now we don't have an option because textbook both singular and plural form, it will be kyoukasho only. As we have seen this in one of the previous lessons, that in Japanese, the main word, the object remains the same, whether it is in singular or in plural. So in another way, we have to indicate that this is in plural. So korera, this is the word which indicates that there are more than one textbook. There is more than one kyoukasho. So for this question, korera dareno kyoukasho desu ka? Korera dareno kyoukasho desu ka? Korera wa dareno kyoukasho desu ka? So here korera is optional because if it is not mentioned, it implies that there is just one textbook. Dareno kyoukasho desu ka? But here, since it is plural, we must write korera wa, otherwise the meaning will not be clear. So no one will be able to infer whether kyoukasho is a singular here or a plural here. So korera wa dareno kyoukasho desu ka? And here it was kore wa dareno kyoukasho desu ka? Or we can write in another way, that is kore wa kyoukasho dareno desu ka? These are my teacher's textbooks. The answer is these are my teacher's textbooks. So the answer is korera wa watashi no sensei no kyoukasho desu. See here again, double usage of no particle. korera wa watashi no sensei no kyoukasho desu. So these are my teacher's textbooks. Korera wa watashi no sensei no kyoukasho desu. Whose textbooks are these? Korera wa dareno kyoukasho desu ka? These are my teacher's textbooks. Korera wa watashi no sensei no kyoukasho desu. So friends, that's all in today's lesson. We have seen how to ask questions of who and whose type. So in the next lesson, we shall be back with some new content. Till then, keep learning and practicing. See you next time. Mata imasho.